All right, we are now in the taste and smell section of sensation and perception. This looks at pages 146 to 150, and you want to be filling out page 22 in your packet. Okay, first one we're going to take a look at is the sense of taste. Okay, the sense of taste is known as gustation. So another word for taste is gustation. Human taste has four main qualities, okay, which originally were thought of as sweet, sour, bitter, and salty. The umami is a new one that they've just kind of been doing a lot of research on, that they say that we have another taste, which is like a meaty or a protein taste. So most of you guys would know sweet goes along with candy. If you take a look at our tongue there, that's where the sweet receptors are processed at the tip of your tongue. So think about when you use your tongue to lick ice cream. Okay, you're gonna use the majority of your sweet receptors to taste that. Okay, sour would be something like a lemon. Notice it's what happens to your cheeks or what happens to your tongue when you have something like a lemon. It's gonna curl up, so that's where a lot of the sour receptors are. Bitter is gonna be something like a dark chocolate. Is gonna be something like a bitter taste to it. It's in the back of your tongue. And then salty would obviously like potato chips on towards the front, on the sides. Okay, and then you have umami, which they believe is processed kind of everywhere. You also have taste buds on the roof of your mouth. Okay, so those also help you process taste. There are specialized nerve cells that carry nothing but the taste message to the brain. Their taste is realized on specific specialized regions of the parietal lobe sensory cortex. So a lot of the parietal lobe sensory cortex is what's used to process the sense of taste. They also found that the temporal lobe has to do with taste because you remember the taste. Okay, so temporal has to do with memory. But those are the two areas that the sense of taste is known for. Okay, so what is the receptor for taste? Taste, first of all, is a chemical sense. The receptor are your taste buds, okay, and they're known as the papillae, which are bumps on the tongue. They generate new ones every 2 weeks, and then you know the stimulus is a chemical, all right. The taste buds are found on the papillae, which are those little bumps, okay. Taste buds also contain pores that can catch food chemicals. You have over 200 taste buds. Inside the pores are 50 to 100 taste receptors that are antenna-like hairs that sense food, and then they transmit it to the temporal and parietal lobe. Okay, so again, the long process that we talked about with hearing and seeing, there isn't that much of a long process with taste. You just have to know that the papillae, okay, have the taste buds on them, and then the taste buds, okay, have little hairs inside of them, and the hairs, that's where transduction takes place. And then they send that signal up to your temporal and parietal lobe. Okay, so kind of taking a look at the tongue again. All right, taste today is seen as a sense of pleasure. Our ancestors had the pleasing taste of protein because that was the source of survival. So back then they really enjoyed the protein taste. Taste receptors that protect us from spoiled foods or poisonous food. So they're good to have because they do protect us if it's something that we shouldn't be eating. We get new taste buds every 2 weeks. Smokers' taste of smell decline. So smell and taste often decline because a lot of the times you're killing your taste buds. Older people also lose their ability to identify flavors because there's fewer taste buds, and nerve endings that send taste signals to the brain begin to degenerate as well. Smell and taste are dependent on one another, and so this is called as sensory interaction. You cannot perceive taste without smell. So a lot of times, if you can't taste something, you can't smell. A lot of times something's wrong with your smell. Okay, same thing, if you can't smell it, you probably aren't going to be able to taste it very well. Why do foods taste bland when you have a cold? Because you can't taste it. A lot of times they don't work because they work together. Okay, smell. Smell is known as olfaction. And smell and taste are both chemical senses. So here's another chemical sense. The receptor for smell, is your nose. When smelling an odor, molecules are carried up to the nostril to 5 million or more receptor cells. Okay, little hairs in the nose that has transduction take place, and then it's carried to the olfactory bulb, which is in the limbic system. Okay, different odors unlock different smell receptors, okay, to help us identify those. Here's an image of the brain that you can take a look at to refresh your memory. Okay, you have the frontal cortex. All right, so you have the thalamus, which is the big red dot. You have the hypothalamus, which is the green area. Okay, the hypothalamus, the thalamus, the hippocampus, the amygdala, all of these you should remember are part of the limbic system. Okay, the limbic system helps control hunger, thirst, your sex drive. Okay, kind of what I talked about. Your limbic system gives you pleasure in life. All right, the olfactory bulb you can see is right by that blue area, and they kind of moved it forward for you so you can kind of see what it's pointing at. But it's the blue area that's right at the end of the amygdala. And that's where smell is processed. Okay, so everything but smell. Okay, so all the other senses go to the thalamus and then go to the different parts of the cortex. This one just directly goes to the olfactory bulb. Okay, smell, the sense of smell is olfaction. Okay, odors first interact with your receptors associated with hairs in the nose. Transduction takes place in these olfactory hairs. The hairs convey information to the brain's olfactory bulb, located on the underside of the brain by the limbic system. It's also by the hippocampus. Hippocampus deals with memories. Okay, that's why oftentimes when you smell something, okay, it triggers a memory because they're all intertwined in the limbic system. Okay, in humans, olfaction has a close connection with memory. Certain smells, such as a favorite perfume, can evoke emotion-laden memories. Okay, so you have this person smelling, okay, the flower. You got the olfactory neurons in the back of the nose there. That's where transduction takes place, right? And then it goes up to the olfactory bulb. Okay. Again, here's another image of it. Okay. Number 1 at the bottom here, the odorant binds to receptors. 2, olfactory receptor cells are activated and send electric signals. 3, the signals are relayed via the converged axons. And then 4, the signals are transmitted to higher regions of the brain. Okay, facts. Dogs have more olfactory receptors than humans, which might mean why they can smell better and detect things better. Olfactory receptors peak in adulthood, and then they're going to start to decline, like our sense of smell. Women usually outlast men. We have a better sense of smell later. As humans, whether we like a smell or an odor can be a learned response. So we learn why we like certain smells. Okay, so example, wintergreen. In the United States, a lot of people like the smell of wintergreen because it associates with candy and candy's pleasurable. However, in Great Britain, they associate wintergreen with medicine, so they don't like the smell of wintergreen. Okay, so your surroundings, your environment is going to impact what smells you really like. Okay. Smell and taste recap. Okay, you should understand what sensory integration is. You should understand that gustation is a taste. We have technically 5 different tastes: sweet, salty, bitter, sour, and umami. In your taste buds is where transduction takes place, and then it's processed to the thalamus, then to the temporal and parietal lobes. Okay, and then olfaction is known as smell. Nose is the receptor. We have olfactory hairs in the back of our nose, which is where transduction takes place, and then it's sent right to the olfactory bulb.